Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it.
I was restocking windshield wipers at the gas station when my phone buzzed with an unknown number. Probably another collector, I thought, wedging the last box on the shelf. My paycheck wouldn't even cover rent this month. But something made me wipe my hands on my shirt and answer anyway. Hello? My voice cracked, too dry from pulling doubles. Is this Ryan Edwards? The woman's voice was crisp, professional, the kind of tone that instantly made my stomach twist. Yeah, this is Ryan. Who's this? This is Linda Mercer from Grant and Blake Law. I'm calling regarding the estate of Richard Edwards. I froze. Grandpa Richard. I hadn't heard his name spoken to me in over 6 months, not since Dad told me I wasn't welcome at the funeral. Not family. Dad's wife, Ollie, had sneered. Not really. I think you have the wrong, I began. There's no mistake, Linda said firmly. Mr. Edwards named you his primary heir. You need to come in today to review the will. I almost dropped my phone. Heir? But? My parents said. They always said I'd get nothing. They said I was adopted, that Grandpa Richard. Linda cleared her throat. Mr. Edwards left you a letter. He wanted you to know the truth himself. The truth. I leaned against the stockroom door, the cold metal digging into my back like a reminder that nothing in my life had ever been free. Not food, not shelter, not love. When can you come in, Mr. Edwards? I heard my own voice answer, steady despite my pulse crashing like a drum. I'll be there in an hour. After I hung up, I called my manager. Emergency, I lied. He didn't care. Nobody did. Nobody except, maybe, a man in the ground who loved me enough to leave a ghost of himself behind. As I locked up the supply closet, I caught my reflection in the cracked security mirror. Tired eyes, calloused hands, a flicker of something I hadn't felt in years. Hope, or maybe vengeance, maybe both. I stepped into the late afternoon sun, my entire past cracking open behind me, the truth waiting on the other side of an office door. The lawyer's office smelled like lemon polish and stale secrets. I sat across from Linda Mercer, trying not to sweat through my only decent shirt. She slid the thick envelope across the desk. My name, Ryan Edwards, was written in Grandpa Richard's blocky handwriting. I know this must be a shock, Linda said, her voice softer now. Your grandfather wanted you to read this before anything else. My fingers trembled as I broke the seal. The letter was 3 pages long. Each word a hammer against every lie my parents ever fed me. My dearest Ryan, if you're reading this, I'm gone. But I need you to know the truth. I could almost hear Grandpa Richard's gravelly laugh, the way he'd sneak me candy when Holly wasn't looking. Your mother, Clara, was my daughter, your father, Spencer's first wife. You were ours, blood and bone. When Clara died, you were 1 year old. Holly convinced your father to erase you. Told him you were a reminder she couldn't stand. They lied, son. You were never adopted. You are my native grandson. A burning lump rose in my throat. All those nights lying awake wondering why I'd never fit, why Holly's eyes always looked right through me. Linda spoke again, breaking through my haze. Mr. Edwards kept detailed notes. He knew your parents would contest the will. That's why it's ironclad. They spent the money they borrowed, planning to pay it back when they got their grandpa's inheritance. I looked up sharply. What do you mean, spent money? Linda pushed another file forward. Receipts, photos. My father's new truck, the remodeled kitchen, Brittany's college fund. All of it built on a lie that I was nothing. They made you feel small, Linda said gently. But you were never small to him. I clenched the letter in my fist. Holly. Her smirk when she'd whisper I wasn't real family. Spencer's silence every time she did it. They're going to hate me, I said, my voice cracking. Linda's smile was thin but sure. They already do. Now you get to decide what you'll do with that truth. I stepped into the hallway clutching the letter, my shield, my revenge. Grandpa wasn't gone. He was about to speak through me, and they finally hear every word. I could feel my pulse pounding as I stood at the front door of the house I once called home. It looked bigger than I remembered. New brickwork, fresh paint, a shiny SUV in the driveway, all paid for with the money they thought they'd get from Grandpa Richard. I rang the bell. Holly answered, flawless as always in her designer blouse. The way of her smile vanished when she saw me made my chest tighten. Ryan, she drawled, voice like sugar turning to vinegar. What are you doing here? I lifted the letter, now creased from how many times I'd read it. We need to talk. All of us. Her eyes flicked to the lawyer behind me, Linda, standing steady with her briefcase like a silent blade. Holly stepped aside stiffly. Dad was in the living room, beer in hand, laughing at some TV show. My brother Alex lounged on the new sofa, Sister Brittany tapping away at her phone, manicured nails clicking. For a second, I was 16 again, invisible. Spencer glanced up, frowning. What's this about? I set the letter on the marble coffee table they bragged about for years. It's about the truth. Grandpa Richard's will. He left everything to me. Holly let out a short, bitter laugh. Don't be ridiculous. You're not even. Family? I snapped. Yeah, I read the letter. I'm not adopted. I'm Clara's son. Your lies are done, Holly. Alex slammed his phone down. What about us? College? The house? Linda's voice cut in, calm but sharp. You each get $7,000. The rest is Ryan's. The house, the land, the investments. Brittany's mouth dropped open. $7,000? That doesn't even cover my tuition this semester. Dad's face had gone gray. Son, we didn't want you to feel left out. You spent my mother's legacy, I said, my voice low but shaking. You remodeled your kitchen while I ate stale ramen. You made me feel like a ghost. Holly's eyes narrowed, full of venom. You won't get away with this. We'll fight you. Linda stepped closer. Try. The will is airtight. He made sure you'd never win. I looked around at the people who'd called themselves my family. Pale, silent, stunned. For the first time, I felt taller than all of them. The threat started 2 days after I walked out of that living room. First, a letter from a cheap lawyer claiming I manipulated Grandpa Richard. Then came the text. Holly's sugar-coated poison, every line dripping with guilt and desperation. We raised you. We deserve something, she wrote. Family doesn't abandon family. Funny, coming from her. I ignored every message until the night she showed up at Grandpa's old house. My house now. I just come back from a late meeting about the nonprofit organization I wanted to establish to assist children who have been abandoned by their foster parents. I wanted to start my future finally feeling real. But when I pulled into the driveway, Holly was waiting under the porch light, arms folded like a vulture ready to peck at a corpse. I didn't even get out of the car before she was at my window, tapping the glass. I cracked it open just enough to hear her hiss. Open the door, Ryan. We need to talk. I stepped out, the cold night biting at my skin. There's nothing left to say. Her eyes flared. You think you've won? That letter doesn't change what you are, a worthless mistake. You owe us. Owe you? I laughed, but it sounded cracked. For what? For making me feel like dirt in my own home? Holly stepped closer, her breath white in the air. You're still that scared boy, Ryan. You think money makes you different. You'll blow through it. And when you come crawling back, there'll be nothing left for you. I met her eyes. Cold, blue, unblinking. I'm not coming back. Not ever. She grabbed my wrist, her nails digging in. You'll regret this. We'll find a way to contest it. I'll ruin you if I have to. I wrenched free, heart pounding. Do it. Drag every lie into court. Grandpa, make sure you lose. She stared at me, hate burning behind her painted smile. And for the first time I saw it, fear. Not mine. Hers. I stepped back inside, locking the door behind me. For once, I wasn't the ghost in the hallway. I was the one shutting the door. 6 months later, I stood in the garden Grandpa Richard planted himself. Roses blooming wild, the way he liked them. I finished my degree, paid in full with the money he left me. The house was mine now. Every creaking floorboard, every memory they tried to erase. A voice startled me. Linda, my lawyer, had come by to check in. She glanced around the garden, her smile warm. He'd be proud, you know. The nonprofit, the house, you kept your promise to live, not just survive. I nodded, touching a rose's petal. It's strange. They still try to reach out. Holly sent a letter last week. Something about forgiveness and family bonds. What did you do? Linda asked. I laughed softly. I shredded it. The truth is, they never were my family. Grandpa was. She squeezed my shoulder before leaving. Alone, I wandered back inside. In the living room sat an old photo of Grandpa and me, taken before they turned him into a ghost in my life. I traced his face with my thumb. You didn't just leave me money, I thought. You left me my name, my roots, my truth. Outside, the wind rustled the roses. For the first time in my life, I felt it. Real peace. No more lies. No more ghosts. Just me, finally whole.
Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.